The ICMR issues new guidelines for testing. No testing required for asymptomatic individuals. For domestic travellers, contacts of COVID patients don't need to be tested unless at risk, says the centre. No testing needed except for high-risk cases. Are we testing less when we should be testing more to know the real picture? Only a 5 to 10% hospitalization rate for the third wave so far, much lesser than the second wave. But this could change rapidly, warns the government. Amidst a rise in COVID-19 cases, India starts administering boosters. Frontline and healthcare workers and citizens above the age of 60 and with comorbidities are eligible for the precautionary third dose of the vaccine. This on a day when India hits nearly 1,80,000 new COVID cases. The BJP's JP Nadda, the Karnataka and the Bihar chief ministers test positive. The defence minister confirms he has contracted COVID too. In 7 hours, a Goa BJP minister and MLA quit the party weeks ahead of elections. A Goa cabinet minister Michael Lobo quits the BJP, heads to the Congress. Hours later, BJP MLA Praveen Zante quits the ruling party to join the MGP, which is tied up with the TMC. A key Congress meeting over the Goa poll, say sources. The meeting tomorrow is to discuss the feelers put out by the TMC. And India to get its first glimpse of the redesigned Central Vista on the 26th of January. Here's a sneak peek. Hello, you're watching NDTV. Let's get you the top story at this hour. The ICMR has issued new guidelines for testing. No testing is going to be required for asymptomatic individuals, for those who have travelled domestically. Anyone who's been in contact with COVID patients doesn't need to be tested anymore unless at risk, says the centre. So basically, no testing is needed except for high-risk cases. And the question to ask then is, are we testing less when we should be testing more to know the real picture?
The Indian Council of Medical Research in their latest guidelines and advisories have cut down the need for getting tested by a massive margin. So even if you are exposed to a COVID positive patient and you do not have any symptoms like cough, sore throat, headache, fever, you do not need to get tested irrespective of the degree of exposure to that COVID positive patient. If you need to travel to another state, then also you don't need to get tested. Only testing will be required if you are traveling to a foreign nation and if it is required there. The third thing as far as not getting tested is concerned is that if you are COVID positive and if you have completed your home isolation, then also there is no need for testing. And if you were in a COVID care center and if you have completed your time there, according to the guidelines, then also after coming out of there, you do not need to get tested even for getting discharged. One can ask that if you are asymptomatic and while you can still spread COVID, why these guidelines have been changed, because the testing is only for those who are at risk. Also, the risk increases for those who are comorbid, who are in the at-risk categories, because if an asymptomatic person, if they have COVID-19 and if they haven't gotten tested, they can still transmit the disease to these people. So the big question there remains that what exactly was the requirement for these change guidelines.
And new government data shows lower hospitalization rates compared to the second wave. India is witnessing a hospitalization rate of 5 to 10% in the third COVID wave, the government said on Monday. In the second wave, the official data had shown an hospitalization rate in the range of 20 to 23%. Now, while this is reassuring news, the government has warned that the situation is a dynamic and evolving one and the need for hospital care may change rapidly.
How are you looking at this percentage? Because it looks very, it looks like a good news. However, do you think it is a good news that 5 to 10% hospitalization is still required with the given transmissibility?
Virus is less virulent. There is a better population immunity. A lot of people in country have had previous COVID infection, so that also adds to that immune status. And now we are starting booster for high-risk population. So all this will reduce the effect or severity of the Omicron strain. There is a small percentage of this which will require hospitalization because of severe, moderate or severe illness. That number, let's understand, will be significant number. Of the limited number of patients experience we have had so far with Omicron, in Delta variant, last year when there was Delta surge, 70 to 80% patients who were admitted in the hospital required oxygen.
Okay.
This time that number is about 20-25% only. Okay. So even if 100 beds in the hospital were filled last time and this time, 80 required oxygen then and only 20-25 require oxygen now.
And India has begun administering the booster dose, or as our government calls it, the precaution dose against the coronavirus. Starting on Monday, across the country, health workers, frontline workers and senior citizens with comorbidities lined up to take their jab.
Lakhs of people got their booster shots on the very first day that India opened this. So far, only those above the age of 60 and healthcare and frontline workers are eligible.
आज आपको बूस्टर डोज फाइनली मिल गया है.
I feel I'm safe.
You feel you are safe.
Be safe and be safe to others, क्योंकि किसी की जिंदगी से खिलवाड़ ना करो, ना खुद हो. आप पे जिम्मेदारी है परिवार की. इसलिए प्लीज जिन्होंने नहीं लगवाई है, मैं ये संदेश देना चाहता हूँ कि जो नहीं लगवाई वो दोनों डोज लगवा के 39 हफ्ते बाद तीसरी लगवाएं.
We have 20 healthcare workers. Of our 20 healthcare workers are down, which includes nurses and doctors. If we have a sudden, surge, rise in cases, and the healthcare workers are down, then maybe that there would be a scene where you don't have enough healthcare workers to look after the patients.
5.75 crore people eligible for the third dose. 2.75 crore are above the age of 60, 1 crore are healthcare workers and 2 crore are frontline workers. In the national capital, close to 3.8 lakh above the age of 60 are eligible for this booster, being administered at over 100 centres.
I'm over 60, so I definitely needed the protection. Also, I have what you call comorbidities.
In Mumbai, at the Jumbo Vaccination Centre at the Bandra Kurla complex, the turnout was impressive.
The booster dose for senior citizens, healthcare workers, frontline workers is being administered from today. Over 350 centres in Mumbai set up by the BMC, and of course the BKC Jumbo Vaccination Centre is the largest.
आज मेरा थर्ड डोज है, बूस्टर डोज. मेरे को कल मैसेज आ गया, आज इधर आया तो डायरेक्ट मेरे को अंदर सीधा बैठने के लिए बिठा दिया है. तुरंत मेरा आधा घंटे में काम हो जाएगा.
In Bengaluru, nearly 21 lakh beneficiaries have been identified for the booster dose, and vaccinations are happening at 220 centres in the city. Both 72-year-old Sudha and her husband received a message from the BBMP on the booster dose due. The couple are not tech savvy, so their neighbour helped them get a slot.
Day before yesterday we received this message from BBMP.
Because we do not know ABCD of this laptop and other things. So our neighbour helped us.
Rolling out vaccination for senior citizens in Kashmir has come with additional challenge for vaccinators. Since not many senior citizens can reach to vaccination centers because of snow and cold, it is vaccinators who have to wade through snow to give vaccines at doorstep.
Amid the snow and cold, Kashmir rolled out booster doses for senior citizens, healthcare and frontline workers. There are nearly 7 lakh beneficiaries across Jammu and Kashmir. In Boniar Baramulla, vaccinators trekked snowbound forests to give vaccines to senior citizens with comorbidities.
India is now reporting a massive surge in its daily COVID cases and the new variant Omicron. Amidst what is being called as the third wave of COVID, India is finally administering booster jabs for its elderly and frontline workers. With Nasir Masoodi, Akshay Dongre, Saurabh Gupta, Shrija MS, Ratnadeep Chaudhary and Sushil Rathi, Shonakshi Chakravarti for NDTV.
And this even as the government is grappling with a rapidly escalating pandemic driven by the Omicron variant. Nearly 180,000 new infections were recorded overnight. The nationwide daily positivity rate stands at a worrying 13.29%. India has so far reported over 4,000 cases of the new variant, that is the Omicron variant, that has fueled a fresh spike in infections worldwide. And Delhi on Monday reported 19,166 cases. That's slightly lower than Sunday's number of 22,000. Now, every fourth person getting tested for COVID in the city is being found positive. The positivity rate in the national capital therefore stands at 25%. That's the highest since May the 5th, which means 1 in 4 people are testing positive. The city also reported 17 deaths. The number of cases might have gone down today because of low testing on the weekends. And what's also worrying is that the R factor in the current wave is very high in some states in comparison to the first and second waves, and especially in the pole-bound states of Uttarakhand, UP, Punjab and Goa. It is higher here in these states. Take a look at your screen. It's higher here in these states than in states like Delhi and Mumbai, states that have been reporting the largest number of cases so far. Why is this significant? Because the R value, or the reproduction number, measures the contagiousness of the disease in terms of the mean number of individuals who will get infected by a single infected person. What that means is that if the R value is 2, then on an average, 1 infected person will infect 2 others. And in India's most populous state, UP, this is even more worrying, as UP has among the lowest vaccination rates in all of India. Only 34% of the total population has been vaccinated, and this state is heading to the polls in a month. And now UP's health minister has finally admitted to NDTV that poll rallies add to the surge in cases.
But would these meetings and events, did they contribute to the surge?
No, you see, when you are in a huge gathering, it does contribute to that. Any huge gathering, you have somebody who is a COVID positive patient will, because being highly transmissible, this variant is going to be cutting across everywhere and trying to infect as much as people. But also what I would like to put in one word is that in 2020, 2021, what I saw was in the villages, there wasn't so much of a number of cases were coming out, or much less in villages than what it came out in the big cities. This is what I've noticed this time also. This highly transmittable thing, we are looking at all the numbers in all the big cities. And when I come down to all the smallest districts, and there the numbers are isolated and not in very large numbers, and which are easily manageable also. So maybe, there may be a herd immunity or something like that, because you have Delta variant as well as you have Omicron. Both are probably having the same sort of characteristics.
And Kerala, which has been among the worst hit states in the COVID pandemic, is now witnessing a spike in cases as the third wave of infection sweep across the country. And so in a reaction, the government has put in place fresh curbs.
Monday rush outside the outpatient token counters at the General Hospital in Thiruvananthapuram. Around 25 meters away from where senior citizens are getting vaccinated with the precautionary doses. This even as the test positivity rate for COVID in Kerala crossed 11% on Sunday, with the highest daily count in almost 2 months.
പിന്നെ മോൻ ഇപ്പോൾ 10 പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് സ്കൂളിൽ നിന്ന് ഇങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞു പനി വന്നാൽ ഉടനെ കൊണ്ട് കാണിക്കാം അങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ടുവന്നതാണ്.
It's high time that one needs to return to COVID protocols like social distancing, which of course have gone for a toss not only in some hospitals but also in several other gatherings like malls or even shopping areas. This even as COVID cases in Kerala are seeing an increase. The steady spike in COVID cases have come after a decline in the last week of December, and the state government now kicking in fresh restrictions. Wedding funerals to allow a maximum of 50 attendees. Social, cultural, political gatherings to be held online except for important occasions. Public meetings must be avoided. And Education Department has been asked to ensure vaccinations for students above 15 to be completed this week itself.
Know that once the Omicron is introduced to a community or country, it may hardly take 3 weeks or 1 month to replace the other strains of COVID-19. So that is exactly happening in Kerala as well as in India. Definitely, as you have mentioned, the Christmas, New Year festivals might have contributed to it.
With camera person SP Babu, Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
And in a view of the increasing cases of the coronavirus, the Election Commission has banned all parties from campaigning on the ground. So, banned all rallies till the 15th of January. So, parties can only do digital campaigning. So, are our parties prepared? And who has first mover advantage? Saurav Shukla reports.
A shift from physical rallies, banned for a week amid the COVID surge by the Election Commission, to virtual ones. The incumbent BJP says its social media presence is stronger than ever. Ahead of the crucial state elections starting in a month, just what is the digital planning of BJP? A war room to coordinate with a social media team of 6,500 people. Over 1 lakh WhatsApp groups at every polling booth. Installation of 9 lakh LED screens. 4 high-tech studios ready for virtual rallies.
आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पास सोशल मीडिया का एक स्ट्रॉन्ग नेटवर्क है, जिससे आज अखिलेश यादव जी लगातार डर रहे हैं। जिन्होंने वर्ष भर कभी तैयारी नहीं की, वो आज परीक्षा के काल में डर रहे हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं। निर्वाचन आयोग की जो भी सिफारिशें हैं, हम उसका अक्षरशः पालन करने के लिए तैयार हैं।
But in a tweet, a senior leader of Akhilesh Yadav's Samajwadi Party, the BJP's main challenger, indirectly accused the Election Commission of bias. But the Samajwadi Party is also trying to reach to more people on social media through their Akhilesh is Coming campaign. Links of Akhilesh's speak to be shared on social media. The formation of the socialist digital wing, creating WhatsApp groups at booth level. The Congress appears ahead of Samajwadi Party in digital campaign. Priyanka Gandhi is constantly interacting with voters through Facebook, especially with their Ladki Hoon, Lad Sakti Hoon campaign. In addition, Congress will install LED screens in all blocks of Uttar Pradesh. Girls Dance Challenge will be started on Instagram. 75,000 WhatsApp groups of Congress have been created.
तरीके से मैराथन आपने देखी होगी मुरादाबाद, झांसी, लखनऊ में सुपर हिट रही, तो उनको हमको बंद करना पड़ा कोविड गाइडलाइंस के चलते। लेकिन अब हम डिजिटल मैराथन के जरिए गली गली कांग्रेस जैसे कुछ हमने डिजिटल कार्यक्रम तैयार किए हैं, जो हम आगे आने वाले दिनों में शुरू करने वाले हैं। डिजिटल रैलीज के थ्रू प्रियंका जी पूरे प्रदेश के कार्यकर्ताओं को, उस जगह के स्थानीय नागरिकों को, मतदाताओं को एड्रेस कर पाएंगे।
The BSP seems to be last in their entire digital campaign. The party has not launched any special digital campaign yet.
हमारे जो रिसोर्सेज हैं, लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज हैं, उस लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज के तहत में हम कैसे अपने जो हमारी ऑडियंस है, जिनके पास हम पहले घूम करके फिजिकली जा चुके हैं, लेकिन हम लोग उनके पास कैसे डिजिटल मोड से और आईटी का इस्तेमाल करते हुए पहुंचे, इसकी हमारी प्लानिंग चल रही है।
On 15th of January, Election Commission will review its decision, but due to rise in COVID cases, it seems that Election Commission will not change its decision. In Lucknow, with Bilal, Saurav Shukla for NDTV.